one of the kind of moral dilemmas I've been wrestling with recently, actually wrestling's too strong a word, I've occasionally been thinking about recently, is to do with the relationships between compassion and grief and a kind of acceptance of death, if you like. Because, on the one hand, I'd really like to be able to accept, I feel as if I do accept the inevitability of death. I feel perfectly happy with that. And, I guess I would like other people to feel perfectly happy with that. I would like there to not to be fear of death in the world. I would like there not to be, I don't think I necessarily need a mythological afterlife or anything like that. I just think it would be great if you can find a way of tolerating death and accepting it as part of life, really. I mean, we say that, and I know that features within lots of kind of metaphysical and philosophical frameworks. But I think on a completely felt level, I'm not absolutely convinced anybody really believes that. In fact, I think the whole idea of constructing of an afterlife, or the kind of stuff I've spoken about in some of these videos, are really, attempts to deny the existence of death by finding alternatives. And of course, we all try to prolong our lives, either literally or metaphorically through kind of leaving works or leaving things behind after ourselves. So that idea of death is absolutely present as something fearful and negative. And of course, it'd be great if that wasn't the case. The moral problem I have is that if those sort of negative connotations of death are removed, how could there not be a kind of lowering of the threshold of compassion? Would we feel it's kind of okay for people to die? Might we think it's actually okay for people to be killed, albeit painlessly, if we didn't have this fear of death, if we didn't have all those negative associations with death? Would we regard euthanasia as being morally unproblematic because we have no negative associations? Would we regard, if someone was depressed, would we say, oh, you should perhaps think about suicide then, as a matter of course, if those kind of deeply felt strictures against that kind of thing were removed? I don't know really. I mean, I keep finding myself in a bit of a bind with that one, because of course I want the fear of death to be removed, but at the same time I would hit the compassion threshold to be lowered as a result. The only way I've kind of thought my way through that so far, and it's really early days, is I guess a way which is quite selfish, or which on the face of it is selfish, but it really demands a kind of re-understanding of what constitutes a self, for it not to feel as selfish as it does at first sight, which is that when a person dies, this is John Donne actually, this is John Donne, when he said, no man is an island, it's that thing. But when a person dies, I think we have to kind of experience it as part of ourselves disappearing. Not necessarily in a negative way, not necessarily in a painful way, but just not there anymore. A position to stand in the world from which to look out into the world is being kind of removed, almost as if an island has sunk beneath the waves, like another tsunami has rolled across the Andaman Islands, and we can't go there anymore. It's not painful for the island itself, it's nothing, we can't get invested in the island, we just can't go there anymore. So in that kind of sense in which, as I say, that it's a self, on the face of it, it's a selfish view, but if that understanding of self that features with that selfishness is not to do with ego, it's not to do with possession, it's not to do with personal gains, it's not even to do with things like, we'll never get the opportunity to talk to this person anymore, or show this person that we love them anymore, all those kind of things. It's more to do with the absolute kind of core metaphysical sense of self that I spoke about in an earlier video, which I recognise is beyond the realms of any kind of scientific validity. The idea that on a kind of informational level, there is only one centre. The concept of centre is unitary, and we are all in that sense kind of all standing at that centre. So if you think of that as the core self, then it really relates to that either. So it kind of comes out of that thinking of what a self is, that we no longer have the facility to share that centre with another location in space. The centre which, in Pascal's terms, the centre which was everywhere, in contrast to the periphery, which was nowhere. The centre is not quite everywhere anymore. And we collectively, uniquely and unitarily, have been depleted as a result.